There's a moment small, almost invisible. You say something, she pauses just slightly, not rejection, not interest, just a shift. And you feel it. Something in you tightens. You start adjusting your tone, your posture, your words. You try to recover something you can't quite name. But the truth is she already felt it. Not what you said. What moved underneath it. Problem deep dive. You don't think of yourself as insecure. Not really. You function. You talk. You show up. But inside, there's a quiet monitoring system always running. You wonder if you're saying too much or too little. You replay your sentences while she's still listening to them. You try to read her reactions before she even finishes having them. And slowly you stop being present. Instead, you become a version of yourself that is constantly adjusting. A version that wants approval, but tries not to look like it does. You might overexplain a joke, downplay something you're proud of, or subtly steer the conversation back to yourself just to feel seen again. None of this is loud. That's what makes it harder to notice. But it creates a kind of emotional static. And people feel static even when they can't explain why. Psychological insight. There's a concept in psychology called self-monitoring. It's the mind's ability to observe and adjust your behavior in real time. In small amounts, it helps you navigate social situations. But when it becomes excessive, it turns into something else. You stop expressing yourself. You start managing yourself. And the brain shifts from connection to control. Instead of experiencing the moment, you're analyzing it. Instead of listening, you're calculating. And that subtle shift, from presence to performance, is often what people register as insecurity. This isn't about weakness. And it's not something you chose. It's a pattern your mind learned to protect you. At some point, being fully yourself didn't feel safe. So you adapted, you refined, you filtered. And that adaptation worked. It helped you avoid rejection, judgment, discomfort. But now, it's running in situations where it no longer serves you. So the goal isn't to fix yourself. It's to notice where you're no longer allowing yourself to just be. Mechanism, what's happening in the brain. Imagine your mind like a browser with too many tabs open. One tab is the conversation. Another is how you sound. Another is what she's thinking. Another is what you should say next. Another is what you said 5 seconds ago. And they're all running at the same time. This is cognitive load. The brain has limited bandwidth. When too much of it is spent monitoring yourself, there's less available for presence, curiosity, and ease. So your responses become slightly delayed, slightly filtered, slightly tense. And that tension is what people feel, not consciously, but instinctively. 8 subtle signals of insecurity. She doesn't need to analyze you to feel it. These patterns surface quietly. 1. You rush to fill silence, as if space itself is a threat. 2. You downplay your opinions right after expressing them. 3. You seek validation indirectly through jokes, hints, or over-explaining. 4. You interrupt your own stories with disclaimers. 5. You mirror too quickly, losing your own rhythm. 6. You apologize for things that don't require apology. 7. You shift topics when attention lingers on you too long. 8. You try to manage your perception instead of expressing your experience. None of these are dramatic, but together, they create a pattern. And patterns are what people feel. Practical framework, 3 to 4 steps. You don't need to overhaul yourself. Just interrupt the loop gently. First, notice the moment you start adjusting. Not after, during. That subtle shift when you leave the conversation and enter your head. Second, pause instead of correcting yourself. Let the sentence stand. Let the silence exist. It won't break anything. Third, redirect attention outward. Ask a real question, not to impress but to understand. Curiosity pulls you out of self-monitoring. And fourth, allow imperfection to remain visible. Not exaggerated, not hidden, just unedited. That's where ease begins. Integration model. Think of it like this. Insecurity isn't what you feel. It's how much you interfere with what you feel. The more you try to adjust yourself in real time, the less of you actually shows up. Presence isn't confidence. It's the absence of constant correction. So instead of asking, how do I seem? You start asking, am I here? Because most people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for something real enough to relax around. And the moment you stop managing every impression, you become easier to feel. Not louder, just clearer.